I think we've just gone live, right? Yeah, okay, I'm live. You guys are gonna get to see the last few seconds here as I get all of my tech stuff set up. This has been a bit of a hurried evening, and so I'm still getting everything up and running. But I promise, we're almost there. The last thing that we need to get going is, as you well know at this point, obviously, the music. So let's get that bad boy up and going. I mean, we can't have. Come on, what is this? A Center for Ants? We can't have a live stream without our theme music. Is that the one? Nope, that's not the one. That's the old podcast theme music. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. Good. Perfect. Okay. Now, normally, while this is happening, we're waiting on other people to get here so that we can get started. But today is a different kind of day because today other people are already here. They've been sitting, waiting, and messaging me like, "Come on, Jack, when's it starting? When's it starting?" I'm here. Apologize for my tardiness. And they were already ready. I'm getting my shit together. So, I hope you guys are ready for today because I am prepared for the part that comes next, which I'm sure you already know because you're here. And if you're here, then it's because you know that this is the best time of your day, of your week. The volume just jumped up 2 times. Oh shit, sorry. I moved the mic a little closer. How about now? Did that fix it? Is this better? Yep. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you for the heads up, Paul. But as I was saying, if you're here, it's because you already know that this is the very best part of your day, your week, your month, your year, and possibly, depending on what answers you need to hear right now, maybe even your life. But if you truly want to enjoy this to the maximum, if you want to take it up to 110%, if you would like to reach the height of humanity, if you would like to taste the culmination of all of civilization, all you have to do is find yourself something to drink. I have some tiger beer today. And crack that bad boy open and join me now as we lift our glasses in the international activity known to make just about everything better. The Cheers with Chaps. Cheers, boys. I love this. I love seeing my guys backstage having their Cheers with Chaps too. That makes my heart swell with pride and joy and gleeful boyish energy. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump straight into the lesson today. That's right. Yeah. Coot was here ready and waiting. I'm glad for it too. Appreciate you, Coot. That's a good lad right there. So let's jump into it today. Now, today's lesson was a bit of a surprise for almost everyone except for me and the kid, because normally I let you guys know about an hour or so earlier what the topic is going to be. But today you got to find out about 7 minutes ago. And that's not because we just now made it. It's because I just wasn't home. But today we're going to be talking about shit tests. I'm going to be explaining to you what they are, why girls do them, why it's actually a good thing for you that they do them, when you can expect to see them, and most importantly, how to pass any shit test she throws at you, no matter what it is. So, first off, let's talk about what they are and why girls do them. Basically, a shit test is a girl's way of checking to make sure that you are who you say you are, who you're acting like. A lot of guys will go online and they'll read up some clever chat up line and they'll say, okay, cool, I'll say that thing. And they'll say, okay, cool, I'm going to act confident, even though I'm not. I'm just going to pretend. And a shit test is basically a girl's way of saying, like, hey, is that real? Or did you just like learn a couple of things online, but you're not actually that person? Uh, it's somewhat similar to like if you go to a supermarket and you're looking at a tomato and it looks ripe on the outside, but you pick it up and you give it a little gentle squeeze just to make sure it's not underripe, it's not overripe. You want to make sure that the presentation is in fact what you're getting. Now, the reason that girls do this is there are multiple reasons for this. First of all, nobody likes to be fooled, especially not by, I mean, imagine how you feel being like catfished by some girl with her MySpace angles on Tinder or something like that, or a girl who has on a ton of makeup and then whenever she washes it off, you find out, oh, it's a dude, right? Oops. So in that same vein, girls don't want to be fooled. They don't want you to trick them into thinking that you're a confident, attractive, high value man when in fact you're actually just a beta bitch as soon as you get past the initial phases. She's just checking to make sure that that is who you say you are. Now, some of you guys out there might be thinking to yourself, well, Papa Jack, I don't know what shit tests are because I've never had any. Girls don't do those to me. And that's actually really bad news because a girl is going to do shit tests to you if she finds you sexually attractive and wants to make sure that you are the real deal. If she's not giving you shit tests, then she's probably just tolerating you. And she's not interested. She's not excited. She's not feeling like, oh, maybe I would fuck this guy. Maybe I would date this guy. She's not thinking any of that stuff. Because if she were thinking that, then she would be checking to make sure that you are who you're acting like. Now, it's also possible that you're not acting confidently enough, that you're not acting strong enough for her to need to test you, which, again, is because she is not interested and she's not excited by you at all. Now, if you guys are wondering, like, okay, well, if a girl knows that she's not interested in you, then she tests you to make sure that she is interested in you. If she's completely interested in you, does she still shit test you? Yes and no. She doesn't shit test you in the same way, but there are still going to be shit tests no matter how into you a girl is, because she's always just making sure. She's just kind of double checking her security that, hey, this is still the guy. Even if you're in a long-term relationship, she's still going to have to make sure sometimes, hey, this is still the guy that said these things, that acted this way, right? Like, I know I liked him because he was a fisherman, because he could catch fish. And then I told him to stop catching fish. But I want to make sure that he's still a fisherman, right? Like that, there's all sorts of bullshit that goes into the relationship side of shit tests. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about early on. We're talking about first meeting, first, second, third date, early in a relationship. Those kinds of shit tests that you're getting. So, what I was saying earlier was that this is a good thing if you're getting shit tests, because it's an opportunity for you. Essentially, a girl is saying to you, not in as many words, but with her actions rather than her words, she's saying, I'm really into you and I want to see where this is gonna go, but I want to make sure first, before I jump into this, before I put myself in a potentially compromising situation, I want to make sure that you are the guy who you're acting like, the guy who you're showing me right now. Make sure that you aren't just some beta chump who read a couple of articles online, but doesn't actually understand what's going on underneath, who is acting confident and showing the swagger, but doesn't actually have any in his personality. She wants to make sure that you are who you say you are. This is your opportunity. I always tell you that you need to show, don't tell, right? This is something that I've said, I think, every week for the last like 4 or 5 live streams. And guys constantly ask me, like, how can I do that? How can I show but not tell something? Oh, Bento, do you want to come in? Come on, buddy. It's okay. Oh, you want the dogs out? Okay. All right, Simba, go see mommy. Go. Okay, go. So, guys constantly ask me, how can I show and not tell with different things? This is a perfect opportunity. You're confident, you're centered, you have a good sense of humor. These different things that guys say they have. Okay, here's your chance. Here's your opportunity to test it. The reason that shit tests are so effective for women and they destroy so many men is because they require you to be able to think on the fly. And the more you have to think about it, the more you're failing her shit test. The more difficult it is for you to give her a good answer, the more you're failing. What she's actually testing is she's testing for congruence. She's testing to make sure that what you're giving off on the outside is actually who you say on the inside. Now, you guys have heard me talk about congruence all the time, every single week, and in pretty much every one of my videos, in all of my different courses, I constantly talk about congruence. Why? Because it's the thing that girls are looking for. It's the thing that other people define as confidence. Confidence isn't being tall. It's not being rich. It's not being jacked. It's not having a huge swing and a hog. Confidence is knowing who you are, accepting it, liking most of it, and then working to change the parts that you don't like. That's congruence. That's confidence, is understanding every aspect of yourself and presenting that to the world. So, if you view your shit tests as a congruence check, it becomes much easier to pass if you're doing things right. The reason for that is because, being Jack and rich helps, though. You know, here's the thing, is that, okay, I hear you. Normally I would hold this off for the Q&A section, but I'd like to just jump into this right now because it doesn't. Like, being Jack does not help this any, because the parts of myself that I need to accept, that I'm not comfortable enough in my looks, so I make up for it by wearing ridiculous t-shirts and hats and funny shorts, and I'm not confident enough in my dancing, so I always wear flip-flops everywhere we go, so that I literally am not allowed to go into clubs where I know that I have a huge fucking beer belly that I have to put into different situations, put into context. I have to make fun of myself. I have to accept an awful lot of things. I had to accept my balding so much that I just shaved my goddamn head. Like, being Jack doesn't make any of this stuff any easier. And same for Rich, right? Like, Rich's balding is so much worse than mine that he couldn't even keep a couple millimeters of hair. So being Jack or Rich doesn't actually make any of this any easier or better. It is the same for everybody. And I'm not saying that mine is worse or better than anyone else's. It's that we all have our own issues that we have going on. We all have our own insecurities. We're all human in our own way. And the important thing is not that you become perfect or that you become so incredibly confident. It's that you become comfortable with who you are to a point that you build your entire system around who you are. So, me wearing flip-flops is kind of part of my gig at this point, right? That's just a thing that I do. Unless it is so fucking cold that I can't possibly get away with it, I'm wearing flip-flops. Why? Because I don't dance well, and I don't want to pay expensive prices for drinks in clubs. So I don't want to go to clubs. So how can I guarantee that I don't go to clubs? Wear flip-flops, right? Like, all of those things, like the line of thinking there is still the same for everybody. It's not that line of thinking, but the logic line still follows the same. But the most important thing is that you have to accept those aspects of yourself, the parts that aren't the best, the parts that are like, okay, right, I want to minimize that bit, or I don't want to talk about that, or I don't want to point this thing out, or I don't want to focus on this part of myself. You have to build around that, but in order to build around that, you have to accept all of that and not just know it, but accept it and say, yes, this is part of who I am. If I want to, I can change it, but I'm not making excuses to not change it. I'm deciding actively, this is a thing that I want to change, or this is a thing that I do not want to change. So, for example, for me, me having a beer belly is perfectly congruent to who I am, to my style, to my confidence level, and to the fact that I just drink all the time. First of all, it matches, it lines up, the personality and the look line up, but also beyond that is a thing that, like, I don't try to hide it. I don't try to suck it in. I don't try to wear baggy clothes so that it doesn't show. Instead, I just own it and I know it. Is it a thing that I could change if I wanted to? Yes, absolutely. Do I know how to change it? Yes, absolutely. Is it a thing that I want to change? Not high on my priority list. That's it. I'm making a conscious decision to accept that thing the way that it is. If you want to change it, then you have to actually make that decision to change it. If you do not change it, you can't say, oh, one of these days I'll get around to it. No, that's not it. You need to make a conscious yes or no decision on every aspect of yourself. Do I want to keep this the way that it is? Do I want to improve my Korean? No. Why? Because my Korean is already plenty good to do everything that I need to do. So I'm making a conscious decision not to change it. That means my level of Korean is perfectly congruent to who I am and to my own vision of myself. The version of that other people see will come across as congruent and confident because it's exactly who I know that I am, and I've made the conscious decision to accept every single part of myself. Yes, Crow, yes, just be you and know yourself, right? But that doesn't explain any of the nitty gritty, any of the nuance in here, right? Like all the things that I just said. That is the kind of advice that's like, oh, just be more confident, right? Like, how do I do that, right? That doesn't quite get there. But like I said, this is an opportunity. Whenever she shit tests you, I don't want to get way too off track here. Basically, she's presenting you her frame versus your frame. Now, whatever that might be. So, shit tests. A common shit test, whenever you first approach a girl and she says to you, oh, do you say that line to every girl? You're coming up with a frame of, hey, I want to talk to you. Here's something that I thought was a clever line. She pushes back and says, I don't know. Was it that clever? Maybe it wasn't bad, but is this one that you use all the time? Do you hit on lots of girls using this line? What's your situation here? She's checking to see if, first of all, if you're actually as clever as your line was, and two, she's checking to make sure that you aren't just going to fold under pressure. Because women do not want a man who, under the slightest bit of stress or pressure, just goes, I don't know, but I think I just shit my pants, right? Like, so she's checking you. This is her frame versus your frame. So what do you say in that situation? How do you pass this shit test? Well, here's what I am going to tell you, is that there's no such thing as a right answer, but there are wrong ones. There are absolutely wrong ones. In this given situation, a wrong answer would be, no, you're the first girl I've talked to. Okay, you just folded under pressure, right? You answered her and might have even been honest, but what does that give her, right? That tells her that the second a girl pushes back or questions anything, you just, like a house of cards, you fall apart. You can't answer. You can't show but not tell. The other wrong answer here would be, oh no, absolutely not. I would never think of doing that. I don't hit on girls like that. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you feel offended? Oh no, I just meant I wanted to like talk to you and just to see if maybe you were interested. if you start trying to over-explain, if you start trying to if you show fear of maybe offending her, things like that, you're trying to tell but not show. You're failing miserably. Those are some wrong answers here. That would be me. Okay, well, yeah. I mean, in that case, right? So pay close attention. Pay attention, Adam. So, like I said, you need to pass with congruence. Whatever you say back needs to be your own style. Now, there are some different general styles to answering shit tests that people find fun, that people find clever, that you can start to adapt and to bring into your own system. But the most important thing here, honestly, is to do it in your own style, in the most honest way possible for you. And by honest, I don't mean answering her directly, because that is one way of being extremely congruent, right? Like if you came up with an excellent chat up line and you went up to a girl and she said, "Oh, that was a good one. Do you use this line on every girl?" And you just said, "No." That can work, because that's showing that you're confident in your thing. Now, can you make it better? Yes. Can you add some more style, some more substance, some more personality to it? Yes, absolutely. So, one of the ways that you can do that is to agree and amplify, or embrace and amplify. And this is basically to agree with whatever she's saying, but take it to a ridiculous level. Take it to the logical end, the logical absurdity of something. So if she says, "Oh, that's a good line. Do you say that to every girl?" And you say, "Yeah, actually." And it works, which is the weird thing. Now, it got a little bit weird whenever I said it to my grandmother, but hey, if it works, right? Don't break it. Okay. You take the agree. Yes, I say that to every girl. And then you take it to the logical absurdity, to the furthest possible end, to basically say, "Look, watch this. See that cute frame you've got there? That's neat. I'm going to step into it and fucking Hulk out of that whole thing." That's a good way to deal with shit tests. But again, remember, this has to be congruent to who you are and how you act. So the agree and amplify is usually a cocky, funny kind of vibe. Another way that you can deal with shit tests is you can flip the script. This is a fun one. Basically, you take whatever she's saying and you turn it around backwards on her. So, "Oh, that's a pretty good line. Do you use that line on every girl?" "Oh, shit, my bad. I didn't realize you were a girl. I thought, wait. Actually, you know what? It might be worth giving it a try." You can flip it entirely. My personal favorite version of flipping the script is another common shit test is whenever you're chatting with a girl, you're out on a date, you're flirting it up in a bar or whatever, and she says, "We're not having sex tonight." And you say, "I know, I'm on my period." Like that. Wait, hold on. What the fuck? So to me, this is a fun one. If you can think of one on the fly that turns basically what you think she would say back on her, or it turns the question that she's asked or the statement that she's asked entirely on its head, that is a good way to deal with shit tests. Another thing that you can do is you can intentionally misinterpret what she's saying. So, for example, if a girl says, "Good thing," or if a girl says, "Oh, sorry, I don't give my number to just anyone," and you say, "Oh, well, bad news for that guy over there. Anyway, go ahead and put your number in," right? Because you're intentionally misinterpreting her as, "I don't give my number to anyone but you." You can take what she's saying, take the literal meaning of what that is, and then treat it as if that's what she said. So you're intentionally misunderstanding or misinterpreting what she's saying to you. The intentional misinterpretation, the most common popular usage of this is the that's what she said kind of jokes, where somebody says something that is not dirty, but then you choose to interpret it as dirty. And the same works the other way around. If somebody says something dirty and you choose to interpret it as not dirty, this can work in many different situations, but intentionally misunderstanding what she says is an effective way to deal with shit tests. And the last one, this is my least favorite. This is deflect or misdirect away. This is a possible way to deal with shit tests, but it's the weakest way. And this is the way that you would deal with a shit test. If you know that a shit test, you know it's a shit test, but you can't think of anything, and then you can just deflect away, or you can completely misdirect from there. If a girl says, do you use this line on everybody? And you say, why are you so curious about my dating life all of a sudden? Right? Like you're taking like a small hook out of what she said and changing the topic into another direction. It's a viable answer, but it's the least clever of these possible choices. Now, that said, this is not an exhaustive list of the ways to deal with shit tests, because these are just some examples of overall styles that you need to figure out on your own. Now, you might remember that at the beginning of this video, I said I was going to teach you how to pass any shit test, no matter what, right? Okay, here's the answer. And you're not going to like it. All that stuff I said at the beginning about figuring out who you are, accepting all the things about yourself, creating your own style based around that, figuring out who it is that you want to be talking to, what kind of style you want to be giving off to them. Yeah, you got to do all that homework. But here's the good news. If you do, you'll never fail another shit test again. If you do, girls will actually stop shit testing you, but in a good way. Now, like I said before, there are still the relationship shit tests, and those basically never stop because a girl is constantly checking, did I make the right decision? Did I make the right decision? Did I make the right decision? But as far as short-term situations go, those stop entirely. And it's possible that on a long enough time frame, the relationship shit tests stop too. If you are completely 100% congruent, if you are the realest of the real, if you don't break under her pressure, and if you're actually who you show yourself to be, then you'll pass every shit test. Now, Papa Jack, does that mean that every girl in the whole wide world will be attracted to me? No, it absolutely does not mean that. Anybody who ever tells you that they have a method or a line or a thing that's going to make every girl in the world attracted to you is absolutely full of shit and lying to you. But what it is going to do is it's going to make every girl who's interested in you stay interested in you. Now, if you've built your system correctly, like you learn how to do in the Girlfriend Accelerator, the paid course over on realjacknorth.com, then you'll know exactly who you're targeting, who it is that you want to be talking to, what aspects of yourself you want to show them, and you're going to deeply accept all of those aspects of yourself. That is going to come across as extraordinarily confident and as congruent. This is where the shit tests are a massive opportunity for you. Because shit tests are terrifying if you're trying to fake it. This is why whenever guys try to like fake it till you make it and just like act this way, just try this thing, and they fail every time because it's not really who they are. It's not actually what they're thinking, what they're feeling. They're trying to put on a facade and it's not real. they fail. Shit tests are terrifying for them because the shit test is basically just like, right, well, that's the end of this conversation. Anyway, I guess I'll just see myself out now. But once you're congruent and confident and you actually know who you are and what it is you want, then it becomes the easiest thing in the world and the best opportunity. Now, here's the secret that I've been holding off on for 30 minutes because I'm going to give you guys an out. I'm going to give you one line that can pass almost any shit test in a conversation. Now, you can, because of the nature of it, right? Like you can't use the same line multiple times in the same interaction without it being weird. But if you ever find yourself in a conversation with a girl, things are going well, you know, and then she just throws a curveball at you and you're like, oh, fuck. I don't even know how to deal with this. Here's your one get out of jail free card. If a girl says something to you that is obviously a shit test, but you don't know how to answer it and you don't know what to do, you could just look at her and say, huh, I have no response to that. Can we go back to being normal now? This is a get out of jail free card. Like I said, you can only use it once per interaction because it instantly, it calls her out for trying to shit test you, for being weird, for asking some stupid question, right? But also it stays in your own frame of like, where the fuck did that come from? Are you okay? Are you running a fever? What's wrong with you? Did your parents not socialize you as a child? Did they like let you skip a grade or something weird? Like, what's wrong? It calls all of that stuff out in just a one sentence, single question. And that's your one get out of jail free card. Now, only those of you who have stuck around for the half hour mark actually get that freebie. Because I saved that one for you loyal lads who are hanging out and actually listening to the advice. You get the good shit. With that said, I want to go ahead and finish up this part of the lesson, but we're not done with this topic because what we're going to do is we're going to bring in the panel and we're going to have the kid give us some different common shit tests, some different things that I'm sure he can like look on Google and find like a list of shit tests or some things like that. And he's going to read those to us. And each of us in the panel is going to give what our answer to that would be. So it's, yes, exactly. That's exactly right, Greg. Some bitch was held back in kindergarten. Held back in kindergarten. I can't spell my name. You would be surprised. You would be surprised how many girls I've seen make it to adulthood that are just somehow like missing basic ass shit. Here's a true mini story time. I promise I haven't forgotten you guys panel. Y'all are coming in a second. Mini story time here. I dated this girl years back and one time she was over at my apartment and she was like, hey, what time is it? And I was like, there's a clock on the wall. You okay? And she's like, oh yeah, I can't read the clock with the sticks. It's really confusing to me. And I was like, oh, bitch, you're 23 years old and you never learned how to read a clock? How did you get this far in life? That's wild. That's absolutely insane. Anyway, I just wanted to share that little story for you. As you guys know, I'm bringing the guys in, but as you guys know, I like to give my different girls animal names, and her name was Pigeon Brain for good reason. So let's jump in with the panel. How are you guys doing?
Doing pretty great. It's a good lesson.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad to hear that.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yeah, now we have a follow-up question.
Did you teach her to read the clock? Fuck no, man. I taught her. Look, I already took that girl's V card, right? I taught her everything I could, okay? It's not my job to go back and be like, right, so shall we start with the ABC blocks? Or like, are you ready to move on to the draw the clock on the hand on the little paper? Like, I'm not dealing with that shit. No, if you've made it this far without learning that, not my problem. Go watch Paul's interview. Even giants get shit tested.
Everyone gets shit tested, man. Everybody.
Everyone gets shit tested.
All you have to do is just,
But I do think I mentioned one of them in there. One very specific one.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's been like a year or something since we did that video.
That's right. It's been.
I've had a lot to drink since then, so I don't remember what the example was.
I actually think it's almost a year and a half since we did that video.
Oh wow!
Jesus,
been a while.
Yeah. But nobody's immune to shit tests. Nobody.
No.
I mean, we've all gone through it. I think I remember once some girl. She was like, "Oh, you like pineapple pizza? Were you like raised by wolves?" And I was like, "Yes, as a matter of fact, I was down by the river." How did you know?
Ow!
I was like, I'm glad you can notice.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
You just gotta roll with it. Be like, all right, well, you want to say something stupid? I'm gonna say something stupid back to you.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. You like pineapple pizza? Were you raised by wolves? Yes. In fact, it's really strange. The one and only pack of wolf vegetarians in the world. Man. Strange thing.
Yeah, you didn't know that wolves they actively seek out pineapple pizza. Like that's what they do in their spare time.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows that Hawaii is famous for its wolves and pineapples. Like, yes, duh.
Why is it called Hawaiian pizza? Why do you think there are wolves living in the mountains? And that's where she would turn around and walk away all mad, or she would burst out laughing.
Yeah. That, by the way, that's a really good point. If you pass your shit test really well, then she either gets mad and leaves, or she is all in, right? Like shit tests are her trying to make an excuse to leave. And if that's the case, then passing it means she's going to leave you alone, which is a good thing, right? Mm-hmm. You don't want to deal with that.
Yeah. You're just canceling her out. But if she rolls with it too, and she has a good sense of humor, you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. The kid, how are you, buddy?
Kid?
Are you
muted, I guess.
You got to unmute.
Hold on. Let me see if maybe he passed back out. I'm gonna shoot him a message.
Hello?
Oh, there he is. You're good. I
I
know it's early for you, so I thought maybe you just like fell back asleep.
Oh no. I have been rapidly Googling to find a list because you're like, the kid has a list for us. I was like, no, I don't.
Pull that out, like the kid's gonna find us the list.
I was like, wait, what?
Sorry, buddy. I don't know. It seemed like a good idea in the moment.
Yeah, it's okay. I found a list, so we're all good now. But I was a little panicking there for a second.
Yeah, I like to keep you on your toes.
Well,
that's Papa Jack's version of a shit test. Cheers to that.
All right, you guys ready for the list?
Absolutely.
I don't think we need to go through them all. But
no, we don't need to go through them all.
Those are the greatest hits.
If you see one on there that you're like, oh, this is a fun one, or that's a good one, especially if you see one that like I didn't mention during the lesson, then that's even better.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So let's see. So first one is I don't give my phone number to anyone.
I don't anyone. Hi, I'm Paul.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I don't give my phone number to anyone. And then you just point to some old dude walking by and you're like, well, that's bad news for him. But anyway, go ahead and drop your number in my phone.
Right. Who's anyone? Oh, I bet it's that fat guy over there. Yeah, right? Anyone. I'm Caesar.
Yeah, exactly. So the wrong answer in this case would be like, oh, no, I totally understand. Here, let me just get your Instagram instead. Fail. No. If you want the number, you have to get the number.
Yeah, you have to go in there and do the oversell of it. Like once she says that, you have to go 100% down, and you are getting that number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, if if some kind of weird situation where she's like, oh, I'm traveling, so my phone number actually doesn't work in this country, but I can give you my cacao or I can give you my something else, then like, it's fine. It's fine, but it's still not as great, especially if she offers you her Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram is, you'll just be another simp on that list.
Not only that, but like whenever unknown people send her a message on Instagram, they get sent to that like hidden request folder.
Yeah.
So if she says like, oh, here's my Instagram, I'll put it in your phone, send me a message. She's not only is she not going to respond, she's literally never going to even see it.
Yep.
So like honestly, Instagram is the worst idea for trying to contact people. That's just, it's garbage.
And if you somehow make it through the trenches, immediately move from there to Kakao.
Yeah.
Get
or WhatsApp or whatever else, right? Like literally anything but Instagram and dating apps. Because Instagram is a dating app.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is. It's just without the swiping. But Instagram is a dating app. That's what it is at this point. So I wouldn't deal with any of that stuff. What else you got, the kid?
Yeah. Let's see. I got this one. And let's do both probably. Let's say they're saying something like, "Oh, you're too old," or like, "You're too young."
All the better to eat you with, my dear. Like, what the fuck is that, right? Like, oh, grandma, your teeth are so big, your ears are so big, right? Like, no, honestly, for something like that, if a girl ever said to me, "You're too old," I'd be like, "You don't even know how old I am, do you?" Right? Like, I would actually, in that case, I would probably deflect, but I would deflect towards what I knew I could answer in a funny way. So I'm like just driving her shit test down another lane. Because then the next question is, oh, well, congratulations, little Oistro, who just took a mad shit. Good job, man.
Awesome, man. I enjoy those too.
Real proud of you.
I think for
his
me,
colon's still working. That's good, guys. He's not a 45-year-old man. Awesome, dude.
God damn it, I'm almost a 45-year-old man.
Hey, we passed his shit test. Awesome.
Hey,
bro.
that is the ultimate shit test, is when you get the colonoscopy.
Yeah, no kidding. Man, like he's literally living up to the shit test.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, I mean, like if a girl says you're too old, you're too young, whatever, you could do the agree and amplify here, but it doesn't necessarily make the problem go away. If you say like, oh yeah, listen, but like you've never had sex until you've had the whole geriatric ward banging at your door telling you to shut up. Or like, oh yeah, well, you look like the kind of cradle robber to me, right? Like you could do that, but that doesn't break her frame. By agreeing and amplifying on something like that, I feel like the best way to do it is to diffuse it by just redirecting her. Be like, you have no idea what you're talking about. You're just making shit up right now. You don't even know how old I am.
Yeah, I think my response would be, yeah, of course, I'm white. That adds like 15 years. So I'm probably younger than you anyway.
That's a fun. Oh, sorry, I'm not black enough for you because black don't crack, but this is just what I get. I don't know. What if she knows your age? Yeah, Paul's pool is sick, isn't it? What if she knows your age? If she knows your age and if she says that, then you just say, clearly not, because you're out on a date with me, right? Like, if anything that diffuses that line of thinking just shuts it right up. Whether it's you don't even know what you're talking about, you're just talking out your ass, or if it's like, You do know. And that's just how fucking cool I am, that you still want to fucking party with me. You can go anywhere, but I would diffuse the base issue instead of agreeing and amplifying with that one.
Next one.
Next up, what's on?
Yeah, so next up is, let's say she says, can we just be friends?
No.
I would say I have enough friends.
Yeah. I already have friends. Sorry, I'm not taking applications at the moment, but if a spot opens up, I'll let you know. Right? Like, no, I'm not looking for friends.
Yeah. Basically, they say you have enough friends. But, all right,
Oh,
cool.
here you go. Oh, somebody has just found us. Jack's a freaking nerd. That's exactly right, man. Like, have you not, like, seen my room with fucking Mickey and Minnie poster in the background? All my juice makings, my guitars, my trumpet, my stupid hats. If you think you're bringing news to the world by saying Jack's a nerd, well, maybe you're in the wrong chat. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, no, it's a comment. Yeah, that kind of just came out of left field. But yeah, if a girl just says that she wants to be friends, just be like, yeah, no, I'm good. Just be like, cool. If you're okay with that, there's nothing wrong with that. But honestly, guys are a million times better as friends anyway. So
actually, I feel like that might be the best answers. Be like, you don't seem like you'd be a very good friend. No, I think I'm gonna say no. I'll pass.
It's like, you're already making me feel bad. I've had many friends who, for many years longer, who don't make me feel bad. So.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks, though. Mm-hmm. Anyway, back to my place. Yeah, I would just absolutely skip over that one. No.
Okay. Let's see. What else is there? Okay. What if you're out on the first date and she brings up, I need to get to know you first? Let's say when you're asking her to come back to your place.
Hi, I'm Jack. I mean, like, that's it. That one is that's not that much of a shit test. I need to get to know you first, right? Like,
that would be you've misread the signals anyway.
Yeah.
In most cases.
Yeah, I feel like if you've gotten to the point where you're trying to get her to come back to your place, and then she's giving you, I need to get to know you first, then either you've misread the signals or you might be dealing with last minute resistance. In which case, right, like, so if you're dealing with last minute resistance, then you're probably already back at your place. And she's like, wait, hold on. Before we do this, I feel like we should get to know each other better first. And then you say, hey, I'm Jack. And then you give her a kiss, right? Like, I would absolutely just not even, I would not play into that frame at all. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Sorry, boys. Not yet.
Crow said something.
I'm only looking for a special type of friend, sorry, but if you're interested, you can take the exam. Right? Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking for a specific type of friend, and if you're interested, you could take the oral exam.
Oh my god!
Like that. Have fun with it. Have fun with it. As long as it matches your style, whatever your style is. Right? Like, so this is what I was saying earlier in the lesson. Like, my style, I'm a lot goofier. I tend to just like play off things. I tend to like water off a duck's back. I'm not really that worried about whatever she thinks. I'm just gonna say whatever makes me laugh. And Paul is a bit more serious minded. He's a bit more serious in the way that he presents himself to girls. He's a bit more focused and directed. And like, he and I couldn't pass shit tests in the same way. Because
not at all.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's important that I say the thing that works for me, and then he says the thing that's right for him. So this is kind of why we're giving our different answers on these.
Okay, so I have another one. This one actually comes up, and this is story time.
Okay.
So there was this girl, and we're just done at the hotel room, and then like we're lying on the bed afterwards, and she asks, "Do you do this often?" So my instant response was, "Yes, every day,"
Mm,
and like dead serious, and
mm.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah. As long as it comes across as completely congruent and real and honest, then it works. Okay, Simba, come on. Whereas my answer would be something like, no, actually, this is my first time ever at this hotel. And like, so that's the intentional misunderstanding of like, do you do this often? Well, I get to choose what this means. And to me, this means hanging out in this hotel. Yeah, this is my first time ever here.
Yeah, it's
What
my
do you
first
think about
time.
it, by the way? What would you rate this hotel? Is this like a 3-star, 4-star for you? What do you think? What Yelp review would you give it? Like, fuck around with them.
Remember when we got those hotels during COVID when I was still here a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
I would get that question a few times, and I would go like, "Oh no, it's like my first time here." And yeah, duh.
Yeah.
We never do this. Yeah, like why would you tell them? Oh yeah, I did it with this and that and that and that. Like that's how you fail that shit test.
Well, you definitely don't want to give her any details, but if
No.
like in Paul's situation where he's like, oh yeah, that's it, right? Like not even a follow up of like, why does that bother you? No, nothing else. Just yeah, as if it's nothing in the world. Just the same way that like if a girl asks me like, do you drink beer often? Yeah. That's it. Right? Like, if you want, we can discuss it more, but
Yeah,
weird, right?
yeah, that's funny.
All right, what else you got?
Yeah, actually, on that vein, I do have a question for the panel.
Sure.
What are some common shit tests you guys get when like on the dating apps opposed to like approaching in real life? Do you guys notice a difference?
Oh, I don't stay long enough on the app to actually get shit tested. Like my response is, GIF, hey, connections are made in real life. Let's go on a date. Done.
Man knows what he's talking about.
Yeah,
Like literally, if you had seen through my dating app back when I still had it, you would always see 3 exact same messages. It was copy paste every time, and then you just figure out the details afterwards. But that would be if they say yes, okay, what's your cacao? Let's set up the details, and then you just move them away from that, and then you're done.
yeah.
Very few shit tests before the first date.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah,
someone is gonna try to reschedule and shit, and it's like, okay, I'm going there anyway, so you can choose to come or not.
Mm.
Yeah, you basically just use the app as a means to meet them almost right away. You don't use it to just talk to them some more.
Yeah.
But I still think meeting is way, way, way better in person. Like at least day game or meeting people in person, not over the app. I mean, I met some people over these past few weekends, and you know, it's just amazing how much more you get than using an app. Like I haven't really cared for using an app, but I just know that because of location and such, you just don't get a lot of the same kind of success you would if we were just approach people and meet them in person.
Mm.
And even then, like if you're outside of the main city, you're gonna get less on the dating app than you would inside the main city. But if you're inside the main city, you're still gonna get less than you would if you just went out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like it's always a step down.
Yeah. Yeah. And you miss out on so much just using the app because you're only matching with people who use the app and who happen to just like the way you look. And also you're only meeting the people who are willing to meet you anyway, right? Yeah. Whereas you meet someone in person over there, you skip all that bullshit, right? Because they actually meet you and see you as a person.
Like one thing that is very important if you're doing apps is that you need to get your messages in order so that any match you get, you have a 60% or higher first date ratio. Like you need to get them out. That is the only way apps are even remotely worth it.
Yeah. And I think Coop brings up a good point. Jack, if you want to bring it up on the screen, if for those who are just deathly afraid of catfish or fat fish or whatever fish out there, you can do a phone or video call. If you kind of have difficulty getting people to meet you, a phone call really just shows them that you're not some creeper, with a bunch of dead cats in his freezer or something. That you're not just a bullshit over the messages. That you get more time to talk and think about what you're going to say, rather when you're over the phone, you just talk and talk. You're actually your true self, and they like that more. Video call, of course, if you just want to make sure she doesn't weigh, 150 kilograms or something.
Also, on the other side, for the phone and video calls is if you call them or if you video call with them, then you know that their attention is on you and they know that your attention is on them. And that does give you a chance to build something of a connection, especially in Coot's case where he's saying, I match with people who are in other cities and I'm trying to get them to come to me. So essentially to travel, to take an intercity train or bus or something like that. Then yeah, okay, all right, fine. They definitely want to know that you're real before they take that trip. And they're probably going to shit test you the same on phone and video calls as they would in real life too, just to make sure.
So in that case, I think there's one thing that's important to note is that when you do a video call, you will look worse than you do in real life.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And especially in your pictures. So they're trying to find if you're within the acceptable
zone. So
you
need to know that you need to make sure your phone is at the right height and just make sure you actually look good on the video on your phone. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you don't care about that, then it looks terrible, right? Like, I mean, imagine if I video called a girl from here, she'd be like, "What the absolute fuck?" Like, I look way balder here because of the way that the light is set, and the background is awful for trying to impress a girl, and then you could go the other way and you could be like, "That's okay, we'll just put on a virtual background." And everyone's going to be like, "Yo, Paul, sick pool." You're
in my case, I'm in a cave, right?
So, yeah, right. And
I have a porn dungeon
like a
back
fucking
there.
Bear who just woke up from hibernation.
Yeah.
Use your laptop. I did a video call with a boomer headset back in COVID. All right, I'm gonna throw out COVID was an exceptional time in a lot of different ways. COVID was, there's a reason that Rich and I made a whole Corona Busters series about how to date during COVID in Korea, because it was a whole different ball game than normal times.
Yes, and apps were a lot easier during COVID than they are now.
Yeah, because people weren't going out.
Yeah.
The Kid, what's on next?
Yeah, another one would be, let's say the girl says something like, you approach her and she's like, "Oh, I don't date bald guys," or "I don't date guys under 6 feet," or I don't date guys with some sort of criteria. How do you guys respond?
For me, this one is always an agree and amplify, because there's no way for me to break that basic belief. Instead, I need to help her understand this basic belief is completely fucking ridiculous. So, I have had a girl in Korea who said, "Oh, I don't date girls who are under 180 centimeters," which essentially is their version of 6 feet over here, even though it's a bit shorter, so it's a little easier to meet. But still, I've had a girl say, "Sorry, I don't date anyone under 180. And then I just said, "Oh, she was right. She was right. I knew back then in 2010 when Jung Hyun went on national TV and said anyone under 180 is a loser. I went to the doctor's office that day and I got measured and I came in lacking at 179. No, that final centimeter, it changed my life. You go like full Jim Carrey route of like overacting, pointing out that like, oh, yes, that's right, because this woman was a fortune teller, and you should absolutely base your entire future on what some fucking stupid K-pop celebrity who nobody even remembers now said in 2010. Yes.
I had a similar shit test. I saw this European girl in the park when COVID was still a thing, and no joke, she was 2 meters tall at 6'6", 6'7". She was big. Dude, she was a big one. And I was like, I'm gonna go talk to her. I was like, she's big. I was like, I want her to take care of me. And so I went right up to her. Yeah, I wanted snoo. So I went up to her and I was like, hey, what's going on? And she was like, sorry, I don't date Americans. And I was like, good, neither do I. I've never dated an American. I got her to crack and smile and laugh at what I said and all that. We talked for a bit, but she was clearly a boo, and she had this orbiter, this guy, this Korean guy with glasses. Just they were talking, so I was like, all right, well,
yeah,
she's here for that.
And actually, that's a perfect response to this same thing as well. If a girl says like, I don't date guys who are under 6 feet, you go, oh, perfect, me either. Right? Like,
yeah,
you could just say, I don't date guys at all.
Well, but I definitely don't date him.
I've never dated any guy under 6 feet.
I've never dated a bald man either. We have so much in common. We should basically get married.
Yep.
Right? Like,
we have so much in common. We're meant to be.
We're meant to be. This feels just like Lady and the Tramp. Wait, what does that make you? Right? You can have a good time with it. All of these work because all of these. So, what I said, like my response, or Julius's response, or Paul's response, they're all different, and the reason is because we all have different styles, and so these things will all work for us, but it's entirely possible that none of these answers will work for you. But you have to find your answers to these things, which, if you're being actually congruent and set on who you are, is the easiest thing in the world, because you just fucking make a joke about it or whatever. How tall are you? That's usually what they say. You say
my response to that would be, yeah, find your measuring tape and see if you can reach it.
Perfect. I like that.
That's a good one. That's where my mind was going, but I think Paul beat me to it.
I also like
what's height?
Maybe in Coot's case, in Coot's case, right? Yeah. Because he's a bit shorter, and maybe you could say tall enough to ride this ride, right? Like you could go like the super confident route as well. You could do with that a lot of different things.
Right? Just say which height.
Which height?
Mm-hmm. Either this one or the one I could
say. Sorry, I only measure in beer cans, and I'm about 8 of those. Like, just like complete misdirect. Like, no, you fucking what?
With a lot of these, you are tempted to insult them too. But guys, keep in mind, let's not lose focus here and insult, because that could really blow up a situation and get her friends. And don't do that. Just keep it civil, and just reply with a smart ass remark, but not an insult.
If she gets under your skin, if you feel like you need to insult her, then you have already completely failed the shit test. Because her purpose of this is to make sure that you are confident and congruent, that you aren't easily what's the word? That you aren't easily like me right now, that you aren't easily stymied by simple questions, by simple statements, right? She wants to make sure that you are as solid and strong as you are coming across. So as long as you're having a good time with it and you're laughing, then you're going to pass the shit test. Now that doesn't mean that you're going to, like, if a girl says, how tall are you? And you deflect the question, like, she might push on with that, and she might say something like, no, really, this is super important to me. How tall are you? You say, okay, like, look, I'll tell you what, we'll make this a game, okay? I'll write my height down on a piece of paper, you write your weight down, and then we'll trade. Right? Like, you can like lean in on it. Be like, okay, now before we do that, are you sure you want to? You can do that. You can do a lot of different things, but the point is just to make sure that you don't break down.
Or you can do the so this is about 20 centimeters, right? And then
Yeah.
you know this is way too big. Yeah, in that case, I'm about 250.
I like that. I usually respond in feet here, and it confuses them. Good strategy. Not going to work every time, but good enough to like just move on. Right, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I like Paul's answer, which is like, hold your hand up. Show me what you think 6 inches looks like. And then if she's like, oh yeah, that's about 6 inches, you're like, okay, let's just go ahead and stop there because we're getting married. Have a good time with it. Like, you don't want to answer them directly unless that's the way that you pass the shit test. Like in Paul's case that he said earlier, right? In his specific case, with his specific style, the direct answer was actually the best answer. But usually taking some other tack to it, taking a different angle, the agree and amplify, the intentional misunderstanding, the misdirect, the flipping the script, things like this, these usually work a lot better because they're funnier. And that's one of the things that she's testing for, is how clever are you under stress? Or in Paul's case, how confident are you under stress? Because, right, like if you've got the room there and the girls at the front desk all know you when you walk in and they're like, oh, hey, Paul, hey, how are you doing? Right. Then it's like, there's no way that you can pretend like, oh no, I've never done that before. It's like, yeah, no, the correct answer is, yeah, of course. Right. Like, wait, were you a virgin? Oh God.
Or can you define often?
Huh?
Or can you define often?
Yeah. It depends on the definition of is, right? Go with the Flick Willie C. Oh. All right, the kid, let's take one more and then we're gonna wrap this bad boy up.
Okay, yeah. So let's say you're out on a date with the girl, right? And let's say she says something like, "Oh, I don't like your beard," or "Oh, I don't like your shirt," or "Oh, I don't like your outfit." Just she calls out something she doesn't like about like maybe how your appearance or how you're dressed.
My instant thought, my first thought, the second you said that, if a girl says, "I don't like your beard," I would have said, "Oh my God, that's too bad because he told me he really likes you." Wow, wait, you can hear him, right? I'm not crazy. Yeah. Oh, well, you have to get closer. Come here. Yeah, right there. Oh, there you go. Right, like I would turn it into a bit that then, like, it's going to get more physical, and it's like, no, you're going to be okay with it.
Yeah, I weirdly had a shit test from this French guy. He made fun of my shirt because I was wearing. I'm sure Jack remembers that Sex Pistol shirt that has holes everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't care, but it works because it's punk. And he was with these two Latvian girls, right? And so he was like, haha, look at his shirt, it's got holes. I was like, yeah, it's got holes, so I could do this. And then the girls started laughing and they touched it. And I was like, can you try? You want to touch? And he was all embarrassed and shy. So you got to turn around on them and make it be like, oh, well, it's not that bad. I did it so we could do this, got to turn a negative into a positive. And I got the guy laughing too. So I didn't have to insult him. You don't have to be an asshole. Just kind of turn the tables on him and make him look stupid without insulting him, right? That takes a little bit of skill.
I think like if you're on one of your first dates and you get that like,
Basic
oh, I don't like your shirt. Yeah, okay. Shit happens.
Hmm.
Needed
Yeah.
in the laundry machine,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? They just you can just deflect like a lot of those you can also just deflect.
Yeah.
It's just, they're
Yeah.
they're not real shit tests.
You don't
They're
have
like,
to. You don't have to go all in on every shit test.
Mm-hmm.
You can like some of them. You can just be like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Sweet.
Was that leading to something? Like, but what?
Mhm.
Right? Like, are you, or do you?
or you can say that.
Do you have Tourette's?
I remember-
whatever.
I
pops
remember
in
once
your head.
on Tinder, this girl told me I was wearing an animal print shirt in one of my pics. She was like, "Oh, that shirt kills your look." And then I would respond with, "Your face kills your look." Because I just didn't care. I was like, "You're Korean American anyway. You're like tainted." Like, I'll just Bowser side here.
If they come in with an actual insult,
Mhm.
then you like they are not interested in you. Period.
Mm.
Because the girl who's interested in you, she might test you, she might poke you, she might. Okay, so here's actually based on what you gave me, the kid. This is a good difference between a shit test and an insult. The insult is, I don't like your beard, or I don't like your shirt. The shit test is, so why did you wear that shirt to our date?
Mhm.
Okay, that's a shit test. She's interested and she's giving you the chance. She's basically poking at you,
Yeah,
saying like,
Okay.
justify this thing. You're wearing like cats who are Godzilla, who are sinking a Japanese battleship. What the fuck, right? Like,
Is
Wow.
that what your shirt is?
hold on, let me get closer for you. Show you my titties. Yeah, buddy.
There we go. There we go.
Oh,
It's two Catzillas. Wait, I can't do that. There we go. Two Catzillas sinking a Japanese battleship. I bought this in Mexico at a fucking Walmart down there.
Of
Yeah, I
course.
think,
Of course, you would buy it.
Yeah, of course. I saw this. Like, Ariel wanted to go shopping, and I was like, okay, fine. We'll go to a supermarket. So we went out there, and I bought a bunch of salsa and spices and stuff. And then as we were walking around, I saw this shirt up there on display, and I was like, no one would, in their right mind, would buy this. So I have to buy it.
I'd like to
Looking at
tackle that one that Kurt says here.
The gaming shelf knows what the fuck is up. That's exactly correct. 11 out of 10. I'm so sorry, Paul. Keep
I
going.
said the one that Kurt is mentioning, like, why don't you shave your beard here? You'd look better. The correct answer, in my opinion, or the way I would handle this is, yeah, but who should I look better for you or for me?
Mm.
And like, just own the fact that is the way it is. And
Yeah,
No.
that's
Deal
yeah,
with
you,
it.
you
And
cut
then-
your hair for you. You don't do it for anyone else.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
it.
with the shit test that the shirt, like, I don't like your shirt, like the insult versus shit test. I
Mhm.
think that is a very fine line, and once you go over into the long-term relationship shit tests, then insults are shit tests in a lot of cases.
That can be the case, but also once you go over into the long-term relationship side of things, then if she insults you, like outright insults you, then that's when like you need to first of all know yourself and know her really well, because like the number of times that Lady North has been like, oh my fucking god, no, you're not wearing that out, no, you're absolutely not wearing that out, like, okay, cool, that's basically a shit test where my answer every single time is, oh yes I am. You don't have to be with me. You can
What, like
stand like 2 or 3 meters away, but I'm absolutely wearing it.
Like the Nicolas Cage tracksuit.
Okay, fine. I don't wear the Nick Cage tracksuit out. I don't wear that one out. That one's really fucking creepy. Fair enough. right? But like whenever I put on like the party shirts, like that, I understand her, but if I have a good reason for wearing it out, like, oh no, this is the party shirt, and today is party day, so they match, right? Like that's how you match like shirts and shorts, right? You find your favorite shirt and your favorite shorts, so therefore they match. These are the rules. I don't make them, Jesus does, right?
Yeah.
Fucking have a time with it. But if it goes into insult territory, then it turns into a different thing. If she's like, seriously, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you wear that? That thing is so unbelievably ugly.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool.
Now that's insulting.
Now,
That's just being disrespectful.
here's what you need to do. You need to take about 20, 30 minutes, go off somewhere else, cool your tits. Then, whenever you feel like you're ready to act like an adult, come back and we can talk. Because you're mad and you're not mad about the shirt. But you need to figure this shit out, because this thing, right? That doesn't work. That's, again, this is still, it's still a shit test. It's still a congruence test. It's to see, do you break? Do you break whenever she pokes and pokes harder and pokes harder and pokes harder? Because she's gonna keep poking harder to see, where do you break? And if you don't, because you're actually you through and through, then that's what it is. Then she's actually going to do what you said. And she's like, okay, fine. And she's going to act like you're wrong, like you're the asshole. Fine. Then I am just going to leave for like 30 minutes and then come back and we'll talk about this. That's what I said. Right? Or she's going to be like, fine then, I'll just go home. Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Take your ball and go home. Well, I'm not going to invite you to my birthday party either. Like, okay. So, yeah, to the shave your beard or hair, you'd look better. Back when I had my Bin Laden, I used to get that a lot. And my answer to that was always like, people would ask me, especially girls, they'd ask me like, why don't you shave your beard? And I'd say, I'll show you why. Come here. Give me your hand. Okay, come here. Feel that. And like run their fingers through it. And I took really good care of my beard. Whenever I had a long beard, I would condition that thing every morning and, like ring it and like make sure it was good. It was soft. I would use leave-in conditioner so that like it didn't tangle or anything. And they would run their fingers through it and they're like, oh my fucking God. Your beard is smoother than my hair. How? This is nuts. Oh, that feels so good. Can I pet you? Right? Like, so basically you answer them by saying like, I'll show you why. Come here. That is the ultimate way to deal with one of those shit tests.
Yeah. But if I suggest, Coot, if you ever decide to get a haircut for yourself or like a beard trim, see if there are any really good barbers that specialize in men's hair. Not a hairstyling place for women. Go to like a good barber who can really shape it out, give you like a cool, hairstyle or something that kind of works all together, especially for you. You could probably get something really, really nice while keeping the length and the shape in your beard. It just kind of makes it look a little congruent. So
I would if you're interested in getting like a trim or a shape or something like that, I would actually check out the barber shops in Itaewon, because they specifically know how to cut foreigners' hair and they know how to deal with things and to shape them well, right? Like, I mean, even like basic bitch shit, like if you went into a Korean salon and you're like, give me a high and tight, right? Just like basically shaved on the sides and like buzz cut up top. They wouldn't even know what to do, and then they'd still fuck it up. Like, you don't trust the Korean shops to actually cut your hair. You say you have a Korean barber are special. Yeah, special. They're special. Like
the Seoul ones are the best ones. They have some good ones in Hongdae as well. Yeah. But Itaewon for sure if you want to play it safe because you have curly or wavy.
Yeah, your hair is definitely going to be difficult for them to deal with. They're not going to know really what to do with it. So I'd probably just do it in Seoul Because like even in Busan, like they wouldn't really know what to do with it. You would need to find a barber who specifically specialized in foreign men's hair, which is most of what Itaewon is. So
Yeah.
you could do that. But closer to you, though, you could definitely find some in Pyeongtaek or in Osan as well, because the military bases are all right there. And so you can absolutely find some in that area that
Yeah.
specialize in
That'd be
foreign
worth
men's
a
hair.
visit too. Yeah, if you're interested in that sort of stuff. And
I mean, the
I
downside
think
is
some
you're
good stuff.
in Pyeongtaek or Osan. Like, why not just make it an excuse to come up to Seoul for the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
You
you could.
wanted to do it with like a 30-minute trip instead of an
Yeah,
hour.
just like you get like a really fresh cut, and then you go out and meet us with your fresh cut. Women are gonna like it too. Yeah, just like a nice shaped thing. Your neck is completely clean.
So fresh.
Your lines are even. Yeah, there you go. Slumdog something.
Yeah, there's one in Itaewon called Slumdog something. Probably. Korean salons don't do beards unless you meet hairdresser on me. My man. So when I finally decided to get rid of my Mujahideen beard, I went into my local hair shop and I was like, yeah, I need a haircut. Also, I just need you to cut off my beard. And they were like, no, we can't do that. And I was like, okay. Let me show you something. Come here. And I took the clippers from them. And like it was, just like beard trimmer, right? Because they use that same thing for your hair, right? And I just took it and I was like, watch, like this. Zzz, and I cut off half the beard like that. And they just, oh my God, no, you can't do that. And I was like, okay, well then here you go. You can have it back now. You have to finish the job now. Like you can't let me walk out of here looking like this because nobody will come in here ever again. Right?
Imagine you cut off like a half beard.
Yeah. Well, so by the way, this is another this is more of like a social shit test where a lot of people will say like, oh no, we don't do that thing, we don't know how to do that thing, or we can't do that or whatever. Basically, they're saying, no, this is your problem, you figure it out. If you can find a way to make it their problem, now you don't have to figure it out anymore. You pass the shit test. You make them figure it out because you make it their problem. So by taking the dude's clippers and then just like slashing off half my beard, now it's his problem because he can't let me go out looking like that. And he knows what I'm looking for. Like he understood me. He just didn't want to do it. Right. And like, fuck you, man.
It's so weird. Yeah. Put up this next one.
It's actually illegal for them to cut beards. So the Meef hairdresser told me only barber shops. Interesting. I didn't know that. That might have been why they pushed back so much. They still did it for me.
It's crazy all the rules they have here. Like I didn't know there was a barber shop lobby. Fucking Korea.
Barbershop lobby.
Yeah. My goodness. We have oil, gas, firearms,
big
tobacco,
oil, big pharma, big barber.
Oh no, we gotta watch it. The barber and Hagwon lobby, and the taxi drivers. Oh my god. They're so powerful.
That's nuts. I actually kind of like that. I'm kind of into it. That's fun.
Hold on, guys. Give me a second.
All right. Now before we get off, we had one question from Coot a bit earlier that I'd like to go into. Any stories of shit tests you failed?
Yep.
Yes, a lot, but I don't remember all of them off the top of my head. However, I can tell you one shit test that I failed miserably early on when I came to Korea. So I'd been here for months and had gotten no result and went out drinking one night and met this girl. And we went back to my place and we banged it out. And then the next morning, she was cooking breakfast for me. And she came over and she brought me a plate of food. And then I already knew that this girl was she's kind of weird. She's kind of different, right? And spoiler alert, this is the opening chapter to my novel about the crazed lover. Novel is maybe the wrong word because it's a true story, but to the book about the crazed lover. And she just walked over and handed me food, and she's like, "Hey, here's breakfast. And by the way, I'm your girlfriend now, right?"
Oh, Jesus.
Massive shit test. Massive shit test, right? And I knew it was a shit test. And I knew what was happening. I was fully aware that it was her frame of, right, I fucked you, sucked you, and cooked for you. I'm your girlfriend, right? And my frame was, we hooked up. I woke up and you had just already made breakfast. That is all your choice. My frame was weak as fuck. My frame was flaccid. And it didn't even have a little bit of morning wood, nothing. And I was gobbled up by her frame entirely. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Sure. Why not? Yeah. And that ultimately led to me almost being stabbed. So, massive shit test, failed up front. I didn't hold any frame whatsoever. I didn't even have a frame, right? I was 23. I didn't know shit about shit. Still didn't know my ass from a hole in the ground, right? And there was nobody like me at that time who was giving this kind of advice, who was doing these things. And so I had no idea. And so, yeah, okay, sure. Nothing. And she ate me for lunch. She destroyed me. So yeah,
It happens, man.
that was a shit test. And now most guys think that shit tests, if you fail them, then the girl leaves. But like with some girls, if you fail them, she stays. that's the really bad shit test. That's the one you don't want to fail. And that's the one that I failed.
Yeah, it happens, man.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I live to tell the story, so
yeah. I mean, at least you got some booty out of it, even if it's completely crazy booty. But yeah, you're being a little booty bandit there.
Crazy booty is the best booty.
It is. It really is. So, Paul, how about you? What shit tests have you enormously failed on a grand scale?
I'm not sure if I enormously failed any, but there was this one. It was very early after I came back to Korea. I was on this date with like girl like probably 35, 36.
Mm-hmm.
And I failed the shit test in the sense that I can't remember exactly what she asked, but I remember the feeling right after answering it, like when you know you fucked up.
Yeah.
Like you have that she asked some question about something, and then the only answer you gave was the only wrong thing to answer, right? You know that feeling you get, like, oh shit.
Yeah. Like, she's no longer interested.
Yeah,
it happens.
And like you ruined the entirety of everything on that one sentence you blabber out. It's like,
oof, that sounds pretty rough. Do you remember what it was exactly?
I have no recollection.
Yeah, but you just remember it being bad. You remember the feeling being really bad.
I remember the person.
Oh wow!
Not the sentence.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of something that like I may have said that was really, really bad or done something really bad.
For me, like this thing, right? This was right at the start when I went on that chain month of like dating almost every day for a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Like remembering an exact shit test is really, really hard in there.
Yeah. No,
but I remember failing.
Dude, if you're out here and drinking with us, remembering anything is going to be a challenge.
No, yeah.
That is also true.
That is very, very true. I think, I was with this happened a few weeks ago. Probably like a little bit after the time I first came here. So maybe like a month and a half ago or so. And I was hanging out with Jack. our first night proper. You know, it was like a Friday or Saturday night in Hongdae. We were at Corner Pub, and we were on the patio, and we were just sitting there. I think he was smoking, and I was just there, you know, whatever. And this foreign girl, comes up to me, and she's outside. You know, we're on the thing, and she comes up to me, and she asks me, "What happened to your face?" Right? And then I talk to her. I go, "Oh, I was born this way. What happened to your face?" Yeah.
Bit
So,
aggressive.
huh? Oh, she got annoyed and mad. She just walked away and whatever, you know. So I was like, eh. And she was not pretty at all, and she was a foreigner, so like asking a question like that, you know, it's kind of rude. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna be rude back. So that's what I said to her.
Yeah.
It was,
Oh,
it
no.
was a nice rebuttal, but still, like it was a shit test, and I just wasn't interested in playing her games. I was not interested in her, and she was a foreigner, so of course I'm going to be extra hard on her.
Okay.
Because Koreans get a pass, but you know, foreigners, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm going to be a dickhead to you. Why not?
So one time I was out with Julius, and I don't remember who it was, but somebody had a Korean girl that they'd been flirting with, and we're all hanging out. And she was like, "Hey, I need to go and meet my friend." And we were like, "No, bring your friend here." We were over at Cocky Pub, and so the girl was like, "Okay, all right, cool." I told her to meet me at the park, so I'll go and meet her, and I'll bring her here. And I was like, "Oh, here, I'll come with you, and we'll meet her and say hi and bring her over." And I went out there, and this cute little Korean girl, like she met up at the park with this Amazon looking fucking 6 foot tall white girl who was just frumpy as fuck. Like, have you ever seen Rick and Morty? She looked like Summer, like completely, but just taller. You know, just like, oh no, absolutely not.
Ew.
And so I brought her back just because like Cocky Pub's right there, right? And I was like, oh yeah, we're right over here in Cocky Pub. And we got to the door, and like I opened it for the Korean girl, and then whenever the white chick started walking in, I was like, hey, by the way, just so you know, our table of guys, we're all a bunch of misogynist, feminist, hating Trump supporters. So as long as you're cool with that, come on in and join us. And she just looked at me and, well, I never. And she stomped off and like turned around and just left. And I went in. It was like, I don't know. I mean, like she just like turned around as soon as we got to the door and left.
I think she forgot something.
She must have forgotten her dignity in another country. I don't know.
Oh my god, that is funny. That is funny. Wow. He scared her away.
You're welcome. Obviously, I couldn't tell you that story at the table, right?
No,
Like,
of course not. Yeah. He scared the other girl away.
yeah, I mean, probably. Like, I think a few minutes later, the Korean girl got a message, and she's like, "Those guys are just the absolute like worst." And okay, all right, I'll go. All right, fine. Like, whatever. It's a net gain. Still,
Oh, of course.
like to lose one Korean girl, but to lose the white chick, the absolute gain. Absolute net positive on the night. Anyway, I think that's where we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. It's nearly midnight over here. Simba he says, "I'm ready for Betty, Daddy," and I am starting to get a little bit toasted. So, with all that said, and it looks like all the questions answered, I think this is where we're going to go ahead and end it for tonight. So, until next week, boys, Papa Jack out.